early this year that we were going to target fluency because we noticed right away that our 5th graders were having trouble reading at appropriate speeds. And usually that's not something that you really worry about in 5th grade a whole lot. To be honest, I hadn't, and I don't think that the others had either. I know when I taught 3rd grade, it was always fluency, 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 but by the time they were 5th grade, you expect them to read at a good rate. But what we said was we would expect an average of 100 words per minute, and we found that only 30% of the 5th graders at rural elementary school were able to do that. I know in my class, I had students that were not EC, had passed the EOG, but read at 35, 40 words a minute. So they've been able to work through that. But because of what we know about research and reading and fluency, we knew that these students may be even successful in 5th grade, but eventually that fluency is going to catch up with them and they're just going to hit a wall where they no longer grow. So we didn't want that to happen. And so we developed some new ideas, and we did some research together, and everyone brought things to the table, and that's how we spent our whole faculty study group meetings. As you can see from your flyer, we started with some traditional best practices and strategies, and we found these things to be highly effective. We worked on paired reading, choral reading, and readers' theater. And some new things that we did, I think the #1 most effective thing that we did was using the flip camera to record students and then play it back. And so I know Ms. Green and Ms. Eves partnered with that too, and then we worked on that in my classroom and in Julie's classroom. And so if Crystal were one of my students, I would call her over, she would have a passage, and we did this both ways, sometimes cold readings and sometimes practiced readings, and she would read and I would record her. She would finish the whole passage. It wouldn't be a test for how many words per minute. This was just a practice activity. And once we had gone through the whole class, we would hook it up and play it on the television, and the kids could watch, and they had to make a positive comment that what the student did well, and then they had to make a comment about what the student could improve on. A wish, stars and wishes. And we found that students were very open to suggestions and began to work on them because they wanted to do a good job when they were on TV. But they also didn't feel bad about the things that they didn't do well. So it was a good positive environment. And Wendy's going to
one of the things we did was we started off, Miss Green helped us out a lot. She was the one that gave us this idea actually, and we noticed that, in your classroom, even your AIG students, they have that choppy sort of reading where it's just like this. And one of the points she had pointed out to us in numerous meetings, if they read out loud that way, then they read silently that way, which was a great point. So we said, this would be something great for us to do. So we took our flip cameras that Ms. Perry Manley was so kind to get for us, and we would actually, as she said, take the children. And we also did readers' theater, and the results were amazing. These are some of my students, and we want to show you the before. It's just a sample, and we tried to pick sort of children in the middle. I didn't want to pick the kids that were really, really low, and I didn't want to pick the kids that were really super high because I want you to see the average child in this sample. So we have 3 children that we've taped, and they did evaluate themselves, and this is one of my little girls, Brandy. She's going to begin reading.
Cave people made large visual drawings that often included bison and deer. They painted by smearing animals out on walls, then blowing colored dirt through a hollow plant stem with it. The powdery dirt stuck on the wall, creating a colorful picture. Cave people spent most of their time hunting. So why did they spend their time painting pictures? We can only guess. Maybe they thought their pictures would bring them luck when they hunted. Maybe they just used pictures to teach children how to hunt. Or maybe they just felt like painting.
This is Leandra.
You have to listen carefully.
Sheep can't go anywhere, Tom, because they are as defensive and snakes at night. Tom looked everywhere, but with so many trees and bushes, he couldn't find them. But night came and still there was no sign of them. Let's pull out some carrots, said Tom. Maybe that will make her come home. They placed carrots throughout the yard.
He wanted to memorize it.
We could have a spelling bee, said Connor. It would be better if we gave people something for the money they spent, said Mr. Lopez. We must have a car wash, said Caitlin. Great idea, said Mr. Lopez. My car can be the first to be washed. That Saturday, Mr. Lopez's class washed more than 50 cars and made lots of money. When Caitlin got home, her mom said, I have some money for you. And Mom calls waiting in the driveway. Oh no, the car washed it, Caitlin.
Okay, and if you'll see, this was like at the beginning of the year, and you can tell we would have this up and we say, okay, what is something that you wish they had did better? And one of the things they would say is, I wish they had read with more expression. And we talk about things that they needed to do when they were good readers. And when you stand up in front of a crowd, you don't sit like this and you mumble, because a lot of you can see did that as well. Also, these are children. I want to point out that these 3 children that we picked to show you are not children that scored low on testing. And I think that's important to point out. But what do we consider low? Okay, they passed, but what was that percentile? And like she said, eventually that's going to catch up with that child. So now we're going to show you recently, and when I go over the actual percentiles and growth, it's going to shock you.
The very first article of cave was painted on the walls of caves. Cave people made large, beautiful drawings that often included bison and deer. They painted by smearing animal fat on the walls and then blowing colored dirt through hollow plants to onto the dirt. The powdery dirt stuck to the fat on the wall, creating a colorful picture. Cave people spend much of their time hunting. So why did they spend time painting pictures? We can only guess. Maybe they thought their pictures would bring them home when they hunted. Maybe they just used pictures to teach children how to hunt. Or maybe they just forgot to watch. Because our school wanted to raise money to buy goods for school now, but we could have a spelling bee, said Connor. It would be better if we gave people something for the money they spent, said Mr. Lopez. We must have the car wash, said Caitlin. Great idea, said Mr. Lopez. My car can be the first to be washed. That Saturday, Mr. Lopez class washed more than 50 cars and made lots of money. When Caitlin got home, her mother said, I have some money for you. My car's waiting in the driveway.